Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Angel Baby Kyra. Like and subscribe. Go follow me on Instagram. I have a channel there which you can become a member, become an angel. I want to be more interactive on there because I feel like I don't really interact on YouTube because it's just for my mental health's sake. Follow me on TikTok because I'm trying to get to 1,000 with my new account. I want to preface this video with, if you're watching this video and you're not going to watch the entirety before you leave a hateful or nasty comment, just click off right now because honestly you're wasting your time because you're just going to be blocked, deleted, and hidden from this channel. You are going to be banned because I don't got to deal with nothing I don't want to deal with on my own YouTube channel. So I ask that if you are going to leave a comment that is in against of whatever I'm going to say, please be respectful about it. And also trigger warning for we are going to be talking about certain triggering things, inserting SA and things of that nature. So if that is triggering for you at this moment, I will see you in the next video. So the reason that I make these videos, and I feel like I'm constantly repeating myself as to why I make these videos, is because I gained a following on TikTok and kind of on here for doing Melanie covers. And I say this because I know a lot of people are saying, oh well, your only videos that do well is if you talk about Melanie. Isn't necessarily true because I have other videos that got way more views than like when I talk about Melanie from like a year or two ago. So that's not necessarily true. And the reason why I talk about Melanie a lot, and it's because obviously she was a big part of my life in a very unhealthy parasocial way. She really inspired me, you know, to do music during high school and, you know, to be a creative, to be an artist. I feel like it was a big chunk of my life. There's a lot of songs that I associated with certain times in my life, and Crybaby is a song that I really resonated with because I was called a crybaby growing up, and it was a very hurtful kind of word to me, so that resonated with me a lot. As far as the Portrays album, you know, I have been following Melanie since the beginning, so before you say you just don't understand her art, no, I understood it. I consumed it every day. I knew every lyric back and forth, and you know, unreleased YouTube music at the time, I devoured all of it. I consumed every piece of media that Melanie was involved in because she was different, and she was my first experience into the alt community on Tumblr and also Pinterest. She dressed a very like twee aesthetic, and that's how I dressed when I was in high school. I was very into the twee hipster aesthetic, so there's a lot of, you know, moments that she influenced me in my life to look at things that weren't so considered mainstream during this period of my times in the mid 2010s. I just want to say that because a lot of people say you don't understand her, you're not a fan. I was a fan for a very long time, so I feel like I can speak on this. And also I just care about the alt community because there's a lot of weirdos in the alt community. Like every community, there's probably some bad apples in there. The thing is that Melanie presents as someone who's about love and light and being like a kind person and all of these things, you know. And also I wanted to discuss this, especially as an artist myself, with the power and balance that she has, you know, her beginning of Voice and her Crybaby album doing super well and stuff like that. So it didn't get swept under the rug a lot. I feel like this video is, you know, intended to bring, you know, light to serious topics that have been consistently overlooked because Melanie Martinez is Melanie Martinez. And I kind of want to hold myself accountable for not caring enough and putting a celebrity on a pedestal when I was younger, through the ages of maybe like 15 through above. I think I was probably like 17 or 18 when the allegations came out, and honestly, I did not care because it was Melanie Martinez and she would never do that. Also to the point of like, which I'll get into later, just like the purity culture that I was raised in. So I didn't understand the severity of it. Not to make an excuse, but that's just where I was during this time of my life when I was a teenager. So let's get into today's video. So we're just gonna try to do this, you know, in an organized way. So the first thing is the current situation. So my friend sent me a post, and I don't follow Melanie. Like, I'm pretty sure she had blocked me at one point because because I couldn't see her profile when I was doing music covers, because I consistently tagged her being like, your fandom is a bunch of bullies and are stalking and harassing me, to the point which I had to get like a court order and restraining order. I got sent a post shown that Melanie had a new boyfriend. Was not up to date with anything, you know. I haven't seen anything of her stuff or whatever, you know. I don't follow her, so sometimes like they'll like show up in my feed or something, or it'll be like fan accounts, you know, showing up in my feed or whatever. Just because, you know, like Melanie fans had followed me or whatever, and Melanie's like, again, very involved in the alt community as an alt music artist. I knew that she was with Verde obviously when it started. I started doing her covers. Where it started taking off was with portals, so you know, they would post like a lot of stories together. They would go to trips and whatever, and it seemed like they're in a long-term relationship, from what I've seen, and also from what Melanie has said, that he is her first and last kiss, and I guess they were like in high school or some sort of grade school together. So Verde's real name is Justin Greenwood, and he's a photographer, he's a graphic designer, music producer, and he has his own jewelry line as well, and I believe he's also based in LA. And he and Melanie collaborated on creative projects, and where like Melanie was often his muse in photography, where a lot of fans liked that Verde was posting pictures of Melanie, because Melanie wasn't really one to post on social media that frequently from past behaviors with her relationship with social media, and also, you know, during her crybaby era, saying like not everything you see on social media is, you know, genuine or real, and to take time to get off behind the screen, which is very ironic when we get into everything. She sampled or used his beat while I believe he's clearing out his computer, and she used that for Amulet, which is on the Portals album. I think that, you know, being able to work collaboratively with your partner is really good, but someone as big as Melanie with a power imbalance, because yes, Verde is very successful, and I do think he will continue to be successful. Obviously he doesn't have a committed fan base like Melanie. Obviously Melanie has like, what, 15 million followers, but I think she dropped a lot of followers. A lot of followers have unfollowed because of the situation, and I think that, you know, at the end of the day, like, if you're in a relationship with someone, it doesn't always guarantee that you guys are going to be together forever. So going into like creative projects or even like business things can be a little sketchy, especially when you're doing it with a partner, because it comes with all the legalities, all the contracts, which we'll get into, and just, you know, having boundaries when it comes to those things. Like, even if you guys break up or divorce or whatever it is, that you would still go forward in a business professional kind of way if you chose to do so, which I feel like if you're on good terms, like Melanie has said, you would probably still be collaborative together or whatever, and have your management deal with it. They were in a very long relationship with Verde, and before Verde we had Oliver Tree, which she posted like, you know, in-grade pictures of her and Oliver, and you know, they went to Hawaii together too. Kind of a pattern, I feel like. And after they had broke up, and this was long after they broke up, her fans were constantly harassing Oliver Tree. Like, you couldn't even go on his page without Melanie fans like flooding his page with comments like very cringy, like quoting lyrics from her songs, which she has said multiple times that the songs like aren't about him. They bullied him to the point where his fans were even scared to interact with his page or with his content, because there are just tons of Melanie fans like berating you, harassing you if you even mention Oliver Tree, which is something I experienced when I was doing Melanie covers. And then I also did Oliver Tree covers because I genuinely liked Oliver Tree way before Melanie even started dating him, and it's something that me and my husband bonded on when we were like, you know, just getting to know each other and just friends in college. So I think like it was really sad to see Oliver in an interview talk about this situation where, you know, he talked about how it affected his mental health, and I feel like that's a very vulnerable thing, because I feel like men often don't talk about mental health, or it's kind of stigmatized for them to be able to be vulnerable, instead of people just saying, oh well, you should just suck it up because you're a man.
Another artist, and when we broke up, her fans came after me, and she had asked them, hey guys, please let Oliver be, we're on good terms. And crazy enough, that just made more people be sending me more death threats and more things, which I have no idea even how that is the response to asking someone to leave you alone. She released the album recently, and her fans speculated that it was about me, and they started making, you know, all different types of crazy stories. She responded in comment sections on TikTok also being like, hey, the album's not about him. This song, this thing that you think is about him is not about him. And it's been something that's just kind of brought me to a pretty severe place of depression. And I don't like to talk about that stuff. I don't like to show that, but the reality is, like, people don't realize that what they say or do has an impact on people. They think it's not heard or not noticed, but yeah, it fucks people up.
I felt really bad that, you know, he was out of character, which is very rare for him, saying how bad it, you know, destroyed his mental health and he was super depressed. I think that you can have your own opinions about Oliver Tree because, you know, he did something with a K-pop star. He like photoshopped himself on top of it. And I think this is where the double standard comes in because with the merch, Melanie fans defended her saying it was her team, it was her merch team. Melanie still is the artist and still can oversee those things. Same thing with Oliver Tree. He said it was his team, but you guys didn't buy that, right? There is a social media marketing team, you know, for these artists. There is a social media manager, director, creative director, whatever, that will take the initiative for these artists, you know? So I think like picking and choosing when we say like, oh, it's just the team, it wasn't his or her fault. I just think like we need to keep the same energy, you know. It's just weird like, oh, you're just gonna choose that, oh, it wasn't Melanie's fault because you like her and you idolize her. I think like it's concerning that even after years after the breakup that people were still harassing him. Now we come to Verde and Melanie's breakup, and apparently they had unfollowed each other. They had been broken up since like February, the end of February. A month later, I guess we see now Melanie with a new guy posting on her story, which Melanie rarely ever does post unless it's something that has to do with activism, which still is very rare, and also just promotion for her music or whatever she's trying to sell. Her fans are currently questioning the timeline, and a lot of them are like, I can't defend you anymore, Melanie, or this is very sus, or like, I like Verde better, this is where I draw the line. I'm like, this is where people are waking up to the facade of love and light that Melanie has, but not the fact that she has had multiple essay allegations. I feel like Verde is just as in it too because he knew who Melanie was. He knew of her allegations. He knew what he was doing when he was deleting comments of people who were commenting on his own post about Melanie and her allegations. Are you surprised that this is how she behaves? It's very hypocritical and ironic because a lot of her songs are so spiritual and full of spiritual terms, being like, oh, well, my goddesses are looking after me and I'm not full of hatred anymore and I'm just so grown and mature and, you know, all this spiritual stuff, which I'm not against personally because I am a very spiritual person, but I just feel like it's to a point where if someone does it so much, it's just like a facade. Like, what are you overcompensating? There's a lot of people who do this, who do the whole love and light thing, like Carissa Love. She puts out this whole love and light thing, and when it was the LA fires, because she moved here from Florida, she wasn't even posting like anything about how you can help or families in need, and she was posting herself like with her phone while there's like ash going on in the back with a like mask on that wasn't even appropriate, it wasn't even the right mask to wear, and she was going like this, like going around like this. And then when I confronted her about it, okay, and mind you, I had been a fan of her for a bit, wanted to work with her when she was in LA, but just her behavior was very strange, and there's a lot of influencers that were doing this during the fires. I don't know if Melanie posted anything about the flyers because I'm pretty sure she's in LA. These people that all about love and light and stuff like that, she was not love and light, let me tell you that. She's like, I saw her true colors and that's all I needed to see, because these people come to LA and they take and take and take, and that's what a lot of LA natives were saying, were that these people, these influencers, like, we better see you out there volunteering, we better see you helping out the community. You showed your true intentions, and those people are usually social climbers, which I truly believe Carissa is a social climber. And I think that Melanie doing this kind of thing of love and light and, you know, presenting so spiritual, so pure, I think it's just this overcompensation for her real thoughts or her real feelings or how she truly treats people. And it seems that this is a pattern that's consistent with people who have worked with Melanie. Even in her business relationships, like, people said she wasn't the easiest to work with. That can mean anything, you know? And I think people are and were afraid to speak out about this or even say anything about her due to her fans foaming at the mouth and threatening to dox you because you said anything that was critical of Melanie. And I think to expect perfection from anyone is irrational and unattainable. I think to expect perfection because of a pair's social relationship is irrational and unhealthy. If Melanie only had a messy relationship past and didn't have these SO allegations, I would be on the train that this is none of our business, and yes, we can have opinions about it because she made the relationship public with Verde, but she's a grown woman, and if she moves on in a month, yeah, that's really shitty to do, but she has to make her own choice. However, that's not the boat that we're in. She has multiple SO's allegations, you know, and I'm all for people growing and changing, making mistakes, you know, but SA is not a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's not just, whoops, didn't know what I was doing. The whole thing with her, people saying, oh, she was 18, she didn't know what she was doing, Timothy was older. You can still be coerced. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't get that point or argument at all. Also, people saying that, you know, these allegations are false or whatever, I think this should have just, the line should have been drawn at the SA allegations. I should have drawn the line and I heard about the SA allegations. No, can't support someone like that. You know, people say it was proven false. No, it wasn't. Melanie literally admitted to doing those things that Timothy has said. Timothy is a bad person. Being a bad person does not mean SA can't happen to you. There are plenty of bad people everywhere on this earth, and bad things can happen to them. Bad things can happen to bad people, you know, and some people will be like, okay, well, that's their karma. Bad people, bad things happen to everyone. Good people can be bad sometimes. Bad people can be good sometimes. It's more than just black and white. There's always nuance. There's always something that needs to be looked at differently and not just this black and white thinking. She's lying because she didn't take it to court. I hate when people say this because, first of all, again, power imbalance. Why would someone go against Melanie Martinez, a millionaire, okay? Someone who has these rabid fans that will do anything to protect her. And it being a woman-on-woman crime, or SA, barely any SA cases make it to the actual court or to actual trial. Like 3%. Not everyone reports or goes to or takes it to court. It is a very long process. Traumatizing. It's endless. It's endless, and then you have to see your abuser in court. It's not good mentally, and plus everyone's blaming you for it, and I've had to experience that. I experienced it. It never does anything for the most part. People say you don't say the full line of what Melanie said. She never said no what we chose to do together. That doesn't make it any better, nor does it make any sense to say that, oh, she didn't say no what we chose to do together. She didn't choose that. You made her. You coerced her. You tired her out. If it's not an enthusiastic yes, it means no. No answer means no. Intoxication means no. Without an enthusiastic yes, there's no consent. Lastly, people saying there's no proof. What did you want Timothy to do? Take out their phone and take a picture or a video? Take out her phone. Yes, okay. I'm getting essayed right now. Let me just take out my phone, videotape this person doing this to me. What? Do you hear yourself? This is what every Melanie fan has said for the past several years. As a person who's experienced SA multiple times in their life, there is no perfect way how a survivor should act. What you think someone should do in a situation that did not happen to you is just baffling to me. How are you going to tell someone how to deal with the trauma or the traumatizing actions of someone else? Who are you to tell them? You're no one. Melanie Martinez fans have gone so far to comment on Timothy Heller's account to say that she should have enjoyed it because it was Melanie Martinez. How sick in the head do you have to be to say that to someone? Timothy Heller was ran off the internet by Melanie's fans because, I quote from Timothy, they got into everything except my bank account. So yes, these fans went into Timothy's Instagram account, social media handles, posted whatever they posted. That's not normal at all. This behavior is not normal. Where are these kids' parents? Why aren't these parents monitoring their kids? The same thing with the people that were harassing and stalking me, that were slandering my name. all because they didn't like my Melanie covers. It's insane. It's actually insane. This parasocial relationship is a cult. And people told me last time that I was reaching. I am not reaching for nothing. My hands are right in my lap. I don't gotta reach for nothing. It fell in my lap. Because these kids or these teenagers, oh, but you have to be the bigger no, I don't. If they can't handle what they dish out, get off the internet. Go cry to your mom. Go do your math homework. Go learn how to tell time on the clock, because I know y'all don't know how to do that. People have said, oh, she's the only reason why I wake up. Excuse me? What do you mean she's the only reason why you wake up? That's not healthy. The things like Melanie making NFTs during the pandemic time, charging $666, $333, $222. That's just a whole thing in itself of like her, you know, using someone else's art, I believe, and selling it, and just the even like concept of NFTs. And she's supposed to be someone that cares about the environment. Yeah, she partnered with whatever, carbon neutral, whatever. Once I looked into it, and you can find it on Reddit or whatever about her NFTs things, but it still leaves a carbon footprint. And also charging people with these, you know, long lasting kinds of art, it just feels scammy. NFTs are scammy. Going to Hawaii when Hawaiians have asked consistently not to come to their island. Natives are being pushed out from Hawaii, and supposedly she's an activist for indigenous people. You know, the current events. You know, I know she's talking about Palestine, I know she's talking about LGBTQ rights, but it seems that she kind of picks and chooses of like what's deemed important. She's gotten to Hawaii multiple times. Then we have the current thing of not letting Verde publish his book because of usage right of her images, which I think this is territory where the contracts and the business side is what I was talking about in the beginning, where, you know, whatever percentages copyrights that they signed, because I'm sure he had to sign something with her label, with her manager, whatever it was. You know, shitty that is that Melanie knew she was a big part of his photography. She knew he was a big muse in his photography. Her not letting him have rights to the pictures, she can do that, you know, because she does have rights to her own pictures. I just think it's kind of not aligning with what she said, that they were wishing each other well, which is something she said about Oliver Tree too. And I think that if you're on good terms with someone that you broke up with, that you've been in a long-term relationship with, I feel like you would have been able to continue it in a professional setting, especially that you used his song and then he gets to use the images from you. I feel like there should have been some sort of boundary between that, you know. But I feel like if you're in good terms or whatever, I feel like, you know, if you don't want to talk to him, you can have your management deal with all of that stuff, which is weird because she had management tell him, I believe, that, like, you know, about the usage rights. I think I could be wrong, I forgot, but I'll put it there. It's like Verde's like debut photography book, which is a very big deal as a photographer in my opinion, and I feel like that, like, it's kind of just like sabotaging him. I don't know, it just feels like really weird, you know. Like, she can, like, you know, she has every right to keep the usage of her own photos, you know. Don't know what contracts they signed, but I just think it's weird if, you know, you're also in a business creative kind of position with this person. But I think that he said that Melanie wouldn't let him see the dog, so someone in the Reddit thread that was talking about this situation said that in the state of California, there are laws saying that whoever owns the dog or whoever's name the dog is under is technically their dog, and they get to dictate whoever sees it, pretty much. I know it sucks that he's not able to see his dog, and it's just, again, it's really weird, people drawing the line that, oh, this is really bad because she wouldn't even let him see his dogs, I can't be a fan anymore. There was always things there that showed us that she wasn't a good person. There are things there that showed us that she probably wasn't the kindest person. Melanie moving on so fast caught everyone off guard and everyone by surprise, and some, you know, have said, I'm not a fan anymore, I can't defend you after all of this, and didn't care about the allegations and continue not to care about the allegations. This is not the thing to be mad over. This was just the situation by itself without the essay allegation. This is nothing to be mad over. It was right in our faces that Melanie, you know, was not this person that she led off to be for a very long time. I feel like that her Instagram was very curated. She always had to be on aesthetic. There's nothing that couldn't be out of her aesthetic, which is fine. You know, you're a persona. You're assigned to this label or whatever. But I just think it's just very ironic and hypocritical. Her TikTok was where she showed most of her personality, which I did enjoy for a while. while, but then of course, you know, she has to focus and be this persona for portals. I think with time, as Melanie grew more and more popular, she obviously got an increase of fans, which means increase in wealth. Her $1 million home was sold because someone had doxed her, which I know is very terrifying, but in the same breath she goes saying that she goes into debt every time she makes a music video or to create art for us. In the industry side, I understand that you can be in debt and basically you are in debt to your label. You are just consistently paying off the label. That's basically how record labels work right now currently, and that's how record deals pretty much work. You are in debt to your label. Go into this contract if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever amount of years, and after that years is up, if you paid everything, basically you get the money left over. If you have not paid everything yet, you're probably going to sign the contract again, and you are probably going to be doing that until you get everything paid off. Melanie is responding to this person's comment because this person and other fans were saying how expensive her merch got or was for the Portals tour, and it wasn't even good quality merch. And I had got her merch as well. I got the CD and the tank top, which was god awful cut. It's terrible. It was just, I hated it. She had, you know, the perfumes that were like tiny, which people were arguing about that. People were arguing about the candles because they were melted when they came. Just not very good quality for the price and for this artist who cares about her art so much, as she says. Melanie is here now in her completely designed by her home.
Hello, welcome to my house tour. I love organic shapes, pastel colors, fun pottery, and generally lots of natural light. So when I designed this house, I wanted to keep in mind all of my favorite things. I've always been a homebody, and my Saturn return is in the 4th house, which represents home. So it's really important for me to have a safe haven where I can be inspired and spend most of my time creating. The last house that I was in for 6 years was very spooky and haunted, and as much as I love befriending spirits, it was really nice to find a new home with very clean and peaceful energy. Although it looked very different before and has gone through so many changes, I knew that this house had the perfect bones for me, and I'm excited to see what changes come next.
She showed us a house tour, which was interesting, but sadly, she's in debt. You can be in debt and still live lavishly, you know, in the time being, so it's not the point. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that she is saying, I'm putting all my savings into this. I'm putting all my money into making art for you guys. And people are like, you should be grateful that she's even doing this for us. Grateful that she's paying off debt, or she's trying to use money on these expensive trips that she goes on, traveling all the time. It's like really weird because, you know, you don't have to buy her merch, you don't gotta do anything. As an artist, I would think you would try to make it a little bit more accessible for your fans. Who are the ones that support you? Who are the ones that are paying you? Who are the ones that are streaming your music? Does that make sense? I'm not saying she's the only one that does this, that price gouges merch, you know. I'm saying this because as someone like her, again, who puts on this facade of caring about the art, about caring about her fans, about caring about non-materialistic things, she's a very materialistic person. And I think it's funny when people paparazzi shot her at Air One with Verde. You know, I don't expect Melanie to be shopping at a Walmart. I don't expect her to be shopping at a Target. Air One's extremely stupidly expensive. It's a very LA influencer celebrity kind of thing because they can afford that kind of thing. Whoever can afford a bag of ice for $30, I think you're doing pretty good, I would say so. So overall, I just think this should have ended with the essay allegations. I think that there should have been accountability from the get-go, as Melanie is someone who's so non-confrontational to the point where it's just absurd that she doesn't address anything, and if she does, it's a quick little story. It's nothing, anything tangible or nothing with meaning. I think there's a lot of people who have spoken out about her and who are continually scared to speak out about about her just due to the severity of her fans being rabid and being absolutely vile. I think a lot of people have, tried to speak out about her, but have been in fear and have been in hiding. Oliver Tree, Jasmine been saying that Melanie was in the nicest them, and they both had to follow each other because people were pestering so much. Jasmine has a right to say that Melanie was not the nicest to them. They don't have to be friends if they don't want to, especially if one party's being rude to the other. There's no reason to make these people follow each other or pretend to like each other just for the sake of your weird parasocial relationship. Other people, like her previous makeup artist or her hairdresser, people said that, she's hard to work with because she wants to do everything herself. I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to do everything yourself, but I feel like to the point where if you have the means, have a creative director, have a hairdresser, have a fashion designer, have a designer for costumes, I would think that you would use those resources to your advantage. I would sure love to do that. And I think that all the essay allegations are something that have been brought up over the course of 7 years. I still think it's very important to talk about because Melanie still has a very large platform. I don't believe anyone is ever truly cancelled in any sense. I don't think anyone's ever truly gonna go away in terms of celebrities. I think the reason why Timothy Heller was pretty much cancelled and booted off the internet was because of Melanie, obviously. Without the allegations, if Melanie didn't have these allegations, I would say this is just petty drama and there's really nothing to it. But I think that we do need to recognize the pattern that has been placed in our laps because this is very concerning, and I feel like this is something that's very common in the alt kind of community and music scene in LA as well, is that a lot of people tend to be hush about these things, and I feel like it was a breath of fresh air to see Verde really speak his mind, even though if he deleted it, because I feel a lot of these aesthetically pleasing people tend not to talk about anything meaningful because it ruins their aesthetic. I feel like these heavily curated people are also part of the problem of just having fakeness and, not really believing in anything with your full chest. Don't meet your heroes because they will disappoint you because they are human beings, and no, that doesn't excuse her essay allegations. I think that people need to stand up more with their chest. I think people need to say things with their chest more because there's so many people that are so silent, and it sickens me because I see this too so many times that people are just so scared to take a stance or whatever, and it's gross. I don't know. It just feels icky to me. Thank you for watching this video. If you watched it in full, if you need help with domestic abuse or SA, CSAM, CSA, or you need to talk to someone, there will be resources linked in the description. And I hope this is the last video that I make about her. I was going to talk about the Timothy Heller allegations in depth, but personally it's triggering for me, so I might not do that. Probably not. I know people have told me to talk about Ethel Kane and to talk about Nicole Dallenganger. So those are the upcoming queue videos that are in my queue and that I'm currently scripting and writing out right now. I will talk to you guys next video. Bye.
Why you gotta make it be like that now? I don't know, I don't know, I don't know now. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know how. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know wow. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying not to forget, but I don't know now.